Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. We are on the air. This is Thesis.
3, 2, 1, we are on the air. This is Thesis. Everything is everything. I am your host, Jay Marie. How's it going out there, folks? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for showing up and hanging out with us today. Coming to you live from Zombieland. Yes, sir. Well, I want to thank you guys for showing up and checking in on us today and hanging out with us. Really appreciate your time. And it's been a minute, so I want to thank you guys for that. But I have been busy, so it's not like I've just been sitting around doing nothing. So those of you who follow me on, who subscribe to us on YouTube, you see that we've been staying pretty busy. Real quickly, they had the Go Paint Day event, so I did a couple segments on a couple artists, spotlights. They had the little RC remote control cars. I did a segment on them. And then I also did Dia de los Muertos parade here in Dallas. That video has blown up. So if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go over there and do so, because there's so much more than just the podcast that we do. And that's why it kind of took me a while to get back to you, because it's been over a month since the last time that we talked. And trust me, I've been wanting to get back on here, but the last 2 weekends were busy in a row, so I didn't have any time. But we are here, and I am so excited, and I am so grateful that you are here with us also. Yes, I've been so I had already thought of our next lesson plan, or our next subject, the next topic that we were going to talk about. I had it ready a few weeks ago, but then these events came up, so I wasn't able to jump in. But it gave me a little extra time to think about it a little bit more, to try to see what other kind of stuff gets revealed as you're thinking through and kind of like going through some of these things, right? So let's just go ahead and jump in. So I want to start off by saying, so I've been working for the same company. I've been doing the same thing for about 11 or 12 years now, and I drive around the city. I don't drive a big truck or nothing like that, or deliveries or nothing like that. We have clients that we service, right, on a weekly basis, and I've been doing this for quite a while. So I spend a majority of my time on the roads in the DFW area. So I was doing some calculations last time with my other vehicle and with this vehicle, my trucks. I've driven in the DFW area, in the Metroplex. I've driven over 500,000 miles in the past 10 years, right? So I'm on the road a lot. I see a lot of what happens on the roads. I see how people drive, and I see patterns of traffic, and where the congestion happens, and these type of things, since I spend so much time on the road, right? And when you're driving, mostly the freeways is where I concentrate. I mean, the roads are the roads, but one of the things that we're gonna look at is how we drive on the freeways. Now, let me just start off by saying, you know how we like to do things here. Okay, you might be saying right now off the bat, like, what? We're talking about driving and on the roads and with this and that. The way we do things here is we want to use stories and metaphors and anecdotes and stuff to kind of give us a better idea of certain things that we want to talk about, right? To see if there's principles, to see if there's, we like digging into these things to try to, cut off, to break away the extra crusts and stuff, and kind of get into the foundation of some of these ideas, right? So please just stick around, and we're it's gonna be the process is gonna lay itself out, right? So we drive on the roads, and when we drive on the roads, we have the driver's handbook, and different states have slight tweaks to the way they have their driving laws, but But there's a pretty normal standard all across America on what's expected of us, how we drive on the road, right? On the city streets or on the freeway, right? I spend a lot of time on the freeway, so I do see a lot of you can see like when we're on the freeway, we're like on a system, right? We're in a system of road of the freeway lanes, and you're one node in this system, and you're trying to get to your place. And while we're on the freeway, we've all decided, through time and through effort and through laws and stuff, we've all decided on this specific standard of behavior that we all should, that we've all agreed to, and that we all need to participate and agree to participate while we are on this freeway. We all agree to behave in a certain manner. By the speeds that the speeds that we're driving, letting the persons know that we're turning with the turn signals and lane changes and slowing and letting each other in and out, this and that, right? We all have agreed, right? It's kind of like the invisible hand, right? Adam Smith, right? Kind of like anyhow, we all agree that this is, but well, we have our laws, but there's a standard that we all say, okay, it's okay to go 70 on this freeway because it's big or it's whatever. But on this freeway, you know what? We got to go 50. Why? Because the lanes are shorter. We're in the city, right? We've agreed through our laws and through our the way we vote and through the way we drive and decide over time. These things have become to a standard, a general standard of behavior that we do while we are on this freeway. So when someone is speeding and going in and out of the lanes, cutting, in and out and swerving, and they're like an anomaly. They're like the anomaly in this system of regular order, right? When you're looking at like, the veins in our body, the blood vessels and whatever are going one way, and then they're coming back because of the pumping or whatever. There's a particular order of how things do. Then, red blood cells or white blood cells or whatever, they go to the place that they need to go to help fight infections or whatever. System. Same thing when we're on the freeway. We're part of a system that we have the code, right? Like for a technical term, we all have cell phones, we all have these devices and computers. So we can throw this language around because it's so much similar. Over time we've figured out a proper code of behavior while we are in this system that we call the freeway. I'm in my car. I'm driving. I need to get to where I'm going. I need to behave in this. If I behave in this particular manner while I am in this system, there's a higher percentage of me getting to my destination safely. Right? If I follow the standard that we all follow. Now, if I'm driving really fast and cutting in and out and not letting people in and taking the shoulder and doing all these things that are anomalous, that don't confine to the order that we've all are used to, you're the anomaly. That's the anomaly. That person, right, because we're talking about cars, that person, that anomaly in that car has a higher percentage of getting into a wreck, of not getting to the destination in a safe, timely manner. There's a higher risk involved. There's a higher percentage of that person, that driver, that node in that system that's acting erratically, that's acting in a behavior that doesn't conform to the rest of the behavior, almost like a virus. It's doing things that the others, don't do, that aren't doing. There's a higher percentage of that particular node, car, person, whatever, not making it to the destination, and also in the meantime, there's a higher chance of this node causing another node, another person, another car to crash. So it's like a virus. We're on the freeway. This person who's flying in and out hits somebody. This thing that's an anomaly to the system that has order. It's like a virus. And what does it do? It makes a regular working system. You're minding your own business. You're driving the thing. You're listening to talk radio. You're enjoying the day. You're minding your own business, and wham! Why? Because there was an anomaly in the system. There was a node, a car with a virus in it. And that virus is, I'm in a hurry, whatever, right? Might be, right? Because look, we've all been there before. We've all went fast. We've all cut people off. We've all been in a hurry, you know. But there's some of us out there. Remember, I've driven over 500,000 miles in the Metroplex. So I see patterns. I see things repeating themselves. Millions of cars, hundreds and thousands of miles, if not, millions of miles, no, wait, not millions of miles, sorry, because we've driven 500,000. Millions of cars and interactions with people and cars on the freeway. You see patterns, you see behaviors that are similar. Like some of you out there, some of us, not me, because I don't do this. I say I do not do this. You wait to the last moment to take that exit when there's traffic, and then at the same time you cause more traffic or more slowdown because, you could have scooted over half a mile back and just, take it easy, right? The system will allow smoother, movement if you were to prepare, right? A mile back, I'm already in the right lane because I know I'm fixing to exit or whatever. Not that I'm better, but these are the kind of things that you do in this system to make your time better, smoother, all these different things. But then there's the anomaly who waits to the last minute to try to scoot over, breaking the laws or whatever because you're crossing the stripes or whatever, right? But at the same time, you can cause a wreck because, we've all seen those type of things that, the anomaly on the freeway, the person who's not following the standard is usually the one who causes the wreck or makes something happen, makes someone else, makes someone else wreck because of their recklessness or unpreparedness or inability to, have a little patience and maybe scoot in a little earlier and wait your turn, So all these things affect, so like patience, right? I see a lack of patience on the roads. People are in a hurry. They need to get to where they're going and I don't know, right? But there's a lot of these things that you can see that reflects of who or what is going on inside that car. When people are driving aggressive, most of the times we could probably safely assume that they're angry or that there's some aggression there. There's anger there because of the way it plays out, the way it presents itself, right, out in the world, in the car, whatever, right? Okay, so just back to the order. Never, we're looking at the driving as an example of what I mean. Order and systems and the one that's the anomalous one, the anomaly, because you're going faster or doing whatever, right? Okay, so in a system that has order, things go good, but they get there because of experience. They get there because of time. The way we drive, for example, it took, we invented cars in the 20s or whatever, so it took 100 years to get to the way we are right now in the rules and how we drive and how we build our roads or whatever. The system. Okay. Now, we can look at that picture of how we drive on the freeway, let's say, or even on the roads because people take red lights and, those type of things. Stop signs, they don't stop at stop signs or whatever. Same concept. So we can look at that system of how we drive and how we behave on the roads, and we can look at it in a general sense and say, okay, life itself has systems also. There's systems of behavior that are acceptable, that society has deemed acceptable. And of course different cultures have different whatever, but for a general sense, right, we can say like murder is bad. Like any culture and any religion in any part of the world, is probably murder is bad unless you're cannibals or something, I don't know, right? But for the most part, we can say that all cultures have probably figured out that murder is bad, that stealing is bad, right? So in in existence, in society, in humanity, you know, how we behave and how we treat each other. Earlier, I brought up the invisible hand, right? In governments and in societies, there is order, right? When there is disorder, the society collapses. The society goes away. Why? Because of there's no order. There's no standard to follow. There's no, you know what I'm saying? So so when we follow a certain standard, like on the freeway, we become predictable. I can predict what the next person is gonna do because we're all doing similar prop. We're all on this, you know, on a standard that I can predict what's gonna happen easier because I see that everybody's going the same speed limit. I see everybody's behaving, right, in this particular manner. But when the person's flying through the lanes in a motorcycle, let's say, that you can't even see, and you're going to scoot over, you might hit the guy or whatever, as that, the person on the bike, I can't predict that. Because that person, let's say on the motorcycle, is unpredictable on how he's not even following the standard, right? So it becomes unpredictable. Now let's take that and let's go into society. Now, we here in America and in the West, or pretty much in all civil society across the world, not just in the West, have come to a particular standard of behavior, of murder and stealing and stuff. Most laws around the world are based on some of these fundamental principles of stealing, of murder, of certain sexual immorality or whatever, right? There's these things that societies have decided, hey, this is the stuff that we're not going to tolerate it, and some of the stuff comes with penalties or whatever. Why? Because there's an order that we must follow in order for our society, in order for our city, our family, our tribe, in order for us to continue to actual progress. There's a certain standard that we need to follow. Not with the anomalies, not a standard that's chaotic. And then sure, we're humans, right? So we can become corrupted in that system. That person that's flying down the freeway, it's probably a good guy. He probably loves his wife and his children. But his something in his CPU has become corrupted to where this behavior, it becomes it shows itself on the roads or whatever, right? So there's a corruption in that person, in that car that's driving a certain way. There's a virus, if we're thinking technical terms, like computers or whatever. There's a virus that node has become corrupted when he participates in this system that we call the freeway. So humans can become corrupted when we participate in this system that we call civil society, right? I can go to the store and purchase my things and whatever, and not really have, well, here where I live, you got to kind of be on your guard, but not too much, like you got to peep everybody out, like in some other areas. But I can go and freely walk in and not have to worry about that somebody's going to come run up behind me and stick me in my face or shank me or rob me or something. Because the standard around my neighborhood is at a certain point to where, those anomalies they're around here and they've happened, but they don't exist that much. Not here in my particular hood. There's not people robbing that run up to you and rob you and jack you. It's very rare. It does happen, but not as much as in certain other areas, right? So there's a certain standard of behavior that's acceptable here in my hood. When I go to the 7-Eleven or whatever, people need to behave because we all and we're like a family, whatever, we all realize and know that, if there's an anomaly that comes into the store, let's say, acting up, acting out of place, acting the way that we all don't act, right? Like if it's a virus, like if it's a corrupt whatever, you come in here with your corruption, you might get dealt with, let's say, right? Right. So So even in society, there's standards of behavior that we've become accustomed to, that have become acceptable, right? Right. So but we're human, so like I said, we could become corrupt. There's a lot of us that have broken laws, that break laws, that do things that take from others, that have done it or whatever. We've been corrupted, right? By something that has like programmed it, because forgive my language, but I'm using this language to kind of give us a better idea. you know you're not quite a machine, but these systems work the same. You get programmed. You learn stuff at school. You learn how to, as a baby, you don't know how to do math, but as you get taught the principles of mathematics, it's like a program. You're at the Play Store. You go to Google Play Store and you download an app. Because I need to do whatever. You download an app. Same thing. The human mind, as we grow, as we go along, we're absorbing information. And we go to school, we get taught things. We get history, mathematics, how to read. These things are essential, to survival, right? How to do math, how to read. These things are essential for us to really progress and to go through. But not only that, the tools, let's say, of reading is almost like adding hardware to the system, because now I can read files. Before, I can only, now, it can be told to me. Now I can read them and store them myself. It's almost like a computer, right? So as we're going along, we're being programmed how to read, how to do mathematics. But then life itself shows us things that programs us. Oh, dang, wear a helmet because last time I fell off my bike and cracked my thing. Wear knee pads when you skateboard. Life teaches us these things too, through pain, through suffering, and all that. We get like little upgrades and updates in our system, right? In our software, right? In our software that's in our brain, through experience. But sometimes we go out and learn, like Socrates. I learned Socrates and philosophy and Plato and all these things. I chose to program myself in this, in these things, philosophy and all these other things, right? So I'm programming myself. So my hard drive is filled with more information. So as we're learning, as we're going through life, we're learning things. Our hard drive, our mind, our CPU is learning things. It's being stored with information, good information, bad information. Some stuff corrupts us. It's like a virus, like a you download a certain app or whatever, and it has malware in it or whatever. It's gonna corrupt your phone. It's gonna do things on the low that you don't know about, because that's the way it was set up. In the program. It's going to affect things in your life that you don't even see. I mean, in your life, in your phone, in your system, that you don't even see, because that's the way it was made, to work behind, to do damage behind, where you can't even see it. Right? And the programming language is the same in society. Certain things sound good, and they, man, look, this idea sounds great, man. Look at all the positive things of this idea or whatever. But how it's being sold to us, how it's being presented to us, if our mind, if our ability to see through, the facade of the snake oil salesman, right, of the car salesman or whatever, who's trying to just show you the good stuff but not mentioning the bad stuff. Because if we were honest, if I'm coming to you with an idea or something like that, openly discussing an idea, the good things, the bad parts or whatever, that's honesty. Just pointing towards something good, it's kind of like, oh, well, what about, so being able to see that takes a lot of work on ourselves, of course, but that work is almost like the same. It takes a lot of, you need updates in your system. You need updates to how you think. The new you. Renew your, update your system a little bit on how you think. But there's a principle that there's a standard and a principle that must be adhered to. Because not all progress, not all new things, not all new ideas work right, work properly, have long-term positive effects. Sometimes they might have short-term positive effects, but long-term negative effects. It's all in the programming. It's all in the language, and it's all in how the unit, the node, the phone, the computer, the whatever. It's all in it has defensive. You have malware defenses on your computer. A virus scan for anything you download. My computer scans everything that I want to download, any image, anything I'm transferring from one unit to another when I'm doing my images or whatever. It scans everything, right? Because there's like a protection. Hey, we want to make sure that anything that comes into this system is safe. Protections, right? So we can develop protections ourselves too. To look out for the person who's trying to, get me to sign up to something that, man, when you really break it down, maybe he's just trying to take my money because I'm signing up for something I don't really know, or I'm signing away. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain awareness that we are responsible for, right? At your house, you put up cameras, you put up, we got dogs, you put up signs, we got cameras, you got guns, whatever. You put protections up to thwart, right? To hopefully scare off anybody who might say, "Dang, you know what? I'm not going to break into that house because they have cameras and the sign says they have guns." So that in itself, it's like it adds like a layer of protection, right? Just having the stuff there, right? So how do we protect ourselves from being corrupted, right? We have to, we have to be aware and awaken, and not only that, but we have to know some things too. The more we know about, different things, the more aware we will be when someone's trying to fool us. Now, hold on. I know about this stuff that you're trying to tell me, right? Let's say somebody's trying to fool you into purchasing something or whatever. No, I know about this product. I know about this system. I know about this thing because so that helps me protect myself, right? So I'm putting up guards. I'm putting up something to guard me, a virus protection, right? Against the salesman who wants me to sign up for some whatever, right? So we have to figure out a way in our lives to be able to see that, right? So when we're on the freeway, back to the freeway, you're looking in the mirrors. You got your mirrors looking. I see somebody flying, coming. He's back, but he's flying through. He's coming through. Preparedness helps because now I can kind of predict what is happening. I'm being aware. I'm looking at the mirrors. I'm looking at the rearview mirror. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm not paying attention, if I'm not, then my chances are, So in life, when we adhere to this standard of behavior that we've all agreed to, right? We have a higher percentage of our day going properly, of us getting to our destinations fine, of our day at work going right, because we're adhering to the standard that the majority of the people, do or try to do. We don't walk in and scream at each other, right? That's not the first thing you do when you walk into the office, even if there is somebody that you don't like, right? You don't like that person. The first thing you don't do is walk in and, right, in the morning, throw them in their face and curse at them. You don't do that, right? Because we've have an ability to tamp our, I want to do it, but I'm not going to do it. Why? Because I'll get fired, right? Because I'll get written up, right? So, adhering to the standard is good. It protects us, right? It protects everyone around us in a different manner. It protects me from going overboard and losing my job. It protects them from being punched by the person who, you know what I'm saying? Right? So there's a protection there by the rules. An invisible protection almost, right? Like, because I'm not going to punch the person, right? Because I don't want to get fired. So that helps me not losing, right? And they helps them not get punched. It's like a invisible protection, right? Same on the freeway. When I drive in a specific manner, I like I'm not in a rush. Never. I'm hardly ever in a rush. I don't like to drive fast. So um, I drive on the right lane and I just cruise it like I'm chilling. I have no rush whatsoever. So when you drive a certain way, let's say like that, um, your percentages, your possibilities, your chances of something happening to you when you're aware and when you're driving a certain way are, what I'm saying, very slim of you being in a wreck. Now there's that anomaly that happens sometimes, but hopefully if I'm being aware and I pay attention and I'm paying attention to what's going on, I can catch it before it happens and, take the proper whatever maneuvers or whatever, right? Oh, dang, this car, right? Oh man, if I wouldn't have been looking, right? How many times has that happened? Oh man, if I wouldn't have, right? Right? At the red light, you look down at your phone and somebody took the red light. Whoa, if I wouldn't have, right? So so that kind of that same protection, right? That invisible protection on the freeway, right? Let's use our imagination. You have a better chance of nothing happening to you, of you getting home safely, of everything going okay. You have a higher chance of that happening if you follow this standard. It's almost like a protection, right? Like a bubble of ghost, a bubble of safety, right? But it's because you're being cautious, right? The guy that's driving crazy, his higher percentage of wrecking into somebody else, of ruining somebody else's, that percentage goes higher on how we behave. Right? So now let's look at how we behave in life, right? How we behave to each other at home, at work, when we interact with each other, what we think about each other, how we talk to each other. Is there any similarities of the metaphor on the freeway? Can we see any similarities between that and how we behave in our daily lives? Right? Does the anomaly exist in your daily life? Is there that person out there that you keep an eye on, that you watch out because they've displayed certain behaviors, certain characteristics that aren't quite up on the standard that we're all used to. Right? The quiet guy that whatever, I don't know, but let's just kind of, you keep an eye on him. Right? Is there anything like that you do in your behavior? Is there anything like that in our daily lives that we see? Now we don't judge people by the cover or whatever, how they look or whatever. But we also want to be aware of our surroundings, and that takes some judgment. And it's unfortunate because in a pure world, in a pure philosophical world, we don't judge. Nobody judges anybody, but there is criminals out there. There is people who are trying to jack you, who will take your stuff, who will hurt you while they're doing it, who will take your car, who will break into your house. They are out there. The anomalies are out there. The viruses in those nodes are out there. They're out there, right? But you need to protect, right? We need to have systems to protect ourselves from the virus, from the anomalous character. You know what I'm saying? The anomaly that's going to break into the house, that's going to break into your car, that's going to try to take your wallet or bum rush you or whatever. Right? So in a corrupt system, well, here's the thing is, look, the system doesn't become corrupt because the system works the way it works through like a natural process, right? But when the majority of the nodes in that system, when the majority of the people in a neighborhood, when the majority of is corrupt, when the virus exists in more of us on the freeway, the freeways are crazy. when everybody, if everybody was driving erratically, then man, there'd be wrecks everywhere. People would be getting hurt left and right. Why? Because nothing becomes, you can't see the pattern. You can't see, you don't know what to expect from the next guy. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like in Mexico. One time I went to Mexico and I took a cab from Mexico City to Cuernavaca, and good Lord, in the city, like, nobody follows the lines. We got lines. There's 3 lanes. No, there's 4 lanes. Huh? Red lights. Nobody stops at the red lights until the next lane of people going the other way keep pushing through until, you know what I'm saying? So the law, see, the standard isn't corrupt. They have red lights. They have stop signs. You know what I'm saying? The standard isn't corrupt. The system isn't corrupt. The people are corrupt. The nodes in the system have been corrupted. More of them in that system are corrupted than the ones that aren't. Right? So that's why societies, and not just, let's say, Mexico, but societies in general, when there's more corruption in the people, it becomes it's a place where people suffer. There's suffering, and there's angst, and there's anguish, and all these things. Why? Because if one person driving on the freeway can cause a wreck and bring all kinds of damage to that a big massive wreck can cause, because he was flying down the freeway going in and out through the shoulder driving a fool. Imagine what one person can do. Imagine what 100 people, 1,000 people, 50,000 people can do. 1 million people can do. 1 million corrupted nodes. One corrupted node on the freeway is bad enough. How about 20? How about 30? How about 50? How about 100? How about 1,000? Are you one of those nodes? Because those anomalies, are they're not good anomalies. Like when, let's think of, right, like Neo, right, in the Matrix, right? He was a non-anomaly, but in a system of nothing but corruption, right? Same like with Jesus. He was an anomaly in a system where that's full of nodes of nothing but corruption. So when he pops up, it's like, oh my God, he stands out. Why? Because he's the anomaly, but for good, in a system that's been corrupted, right? So we can become the same. That we can become one of those nodes. We can become one of those viruses in the system, in society. We can become so corrupted that we infect others with our corruption. We've all seen it. We've all been there, in the hoods and in the whatever, with the drugs and the whatever. We infect each other. And not just like with stuff like with drugs and in the hoods and, like, gangs and hurting each other, whatever. There's other types of corruption that can happen, and that has been happening, and that maybe we aren't aware of because of our own whatever. We can be corrupted in our education. We can be corrupted by what we're being told on the TV screens or on the news or on the whatever. We can be corrupted by that stuff too, because we are absorbing information. When I program the system, I'm programming information into that system. I'm teaching it how to behave by what I tell it, by what I'm putting it into that. I'm programming that system. I'm feeding it information. We are being fed information on a daily basis from TV screens, from people at work, from the people we associate with, in our churches or in our society and in our neighbors or whatever. We can teach each other, we can help each other, but also we can corrupt each other. We can be a virus out there, like in society. We can be the virus too. And sometimes, like I said, it doesn't even have to be something that goes as far as like hurting people, taking their stuff or punching them or whatever. No, it can be something else. A virus of thought, a corruption of thought, a corruption of behavior, slight behaviors, slight corruption of thought, but that can become something bigger that might fester into something else. If I come and start teaching you about, some ideas and stuff, and I'm very charismatic, and I'm very, oh man, well, we're friends. You already trust me because of whatever, and my lack of integrity, let's say, right? And I want to infect you with some idea that I've been infected with, that I buy into, that I've whatever. I want to infect you with it, and we can do that to each other with ideas, and in schools, and in colleges, and what we see on TV, and who you follow on YouTube, and what you watch. You can be corrupted. You can be corrupted by we can corrupt each other. We have that capacity to do it, right? Because we are imperfect, right? And also, it takes a certain charismatic figure to be able to come on the screen, to be able to come on the YouTube, or movies, or influence, or whatever. Not just anybody can do it, but it takes a certain something in here. Now, some folks are led by, desire to be rich and famous and popular and clicks and views, and I got 1 million followers and all this. So they might, who knows? There might be a point to where there's, maybe they had principles, and then they'll do something that maybe they wouldn't have done otherwise, because of that desire to have followers, or to have views, or to maybe one day make money on viral videos, or whatever it may be, right? We can become corrupted by who influences us. Not just on the screen, not just on the screen or on the TV or whatever, but our friends, who we work with, who we hang out, who we listen to on the radio, who I listen to on the TV screen that's trying to be my leader, who I listen to that is my leader. What do they say at my church? The pastor, what kind of stuff does he say up there? But not only up there, what kind of stuff does he say when he's not up there? How do we protect ourselves from being corrupted? Because look, a programmer, right, knows the code. Can read the code, can see the code, knows the languages, the different languages of code, and knows how to write it in a way for it to have certain results. There's people out there who are corrupted, but they are venomous in ways that we don't really have to get into. But there's people that are venomous out there, and they will change their languages. They will leave out stuff to try to fool you, to try to lead you, to try to infect you with a virus, because they're corrupted. They've been corrupted. So it's not. It's like they can't see the they're corrupted already. And mind you, this is anybody, a politician, a teacher, a friend, a coworker, a boss, an influencer on TV, an influencer on YouTube, a podcaster, anybody. There's things that a person will say. There's things that I can say that you should be able to say, no. That, what he just said, is absolutely not correct. But how will I know that if I don't know history? How will I know that if I don't know sciences and philosophies and the sciences of humanity and all of these things? How would I know that if I'm blind myself? How would I ever see that if I can't see it? Right? So there's work that we have to do in order to protect ourselves from those out there who are trying to corrupt us. And some don't even know they're corrupted, yet they are spreading their corruption and their viruses throughout their families, throughout their neighborhoods, in their societies. And some of them have charisma, and they become, influencers. They get followers. They become politicians. They become pastors and priests and mayors. They become these folks who have a lot of people listening to them and watching them and following them. There's a lot of power that comes with that. There's a lot of power in that. But we, you, I, should be able to see, the corruption in somebody's, through somebody, what they're speaking, how they behave, the Christ says, you will know them by their fruit. It's like you're a tree. If you produce bad fruit, I will see it. I will know it. Why? Because I can, I'm looking for it. If I'm not looking for it, I'm not going to be able to see it. But if I'm paying attention, I will be able to say, man, that dude, what he said is, what? Who thinks that way? Who agrees with that, right? Who is he talking to? He's not talking to me because of what he said. He's not talking to me, right? A politician or a pastor or an influencer or whatever. Like, we should be able to see that. Don't you want to be able to protect your home? Don't you want to be able to put them cameras up? We have 4 cameras here. We have 5 dogs. We have some other, So don't you want to be able to protect your home, your shelter, your castle? Here, you? How do you do that? With preparation. You can be aware of the one who's trying to fool you. You can be aware, but it takes work internally. I have to do work. I had to climb up on the corners of the edges and put the cameras and run the wire. I had to do the work for that. It takes work to be able to protect yourself from the one who's trying to corrupt you, from the virus that's out there in a different node who's trying to get into your system and corrupt your home, corrupt yourself, corrupt your family. Things that normally, we've never thought this way. My family, my granddad, my mom, my grandgrandma, none of us ever found this acceptable. Yet now this person, this node is trying to program me to tell me that no, this behavior is acceptable. Never mind what grandma and grandpa and all of this history, never mind what the program, never mind what it's always done, never mind all of that. The programmer, the person who's trying to tell me that this new way of thinking is proper, that it's good, trust me, this is the new way of thinking. I should be able to say, whoa, hold on. Is there any evidence? Is there any proof that I can look back to? Why is it that for 1,000 years we've been doing it this way, and all of a sudden you say this is okay? How will I be able to see that? How will I be able to protect myself and my home, my family, my tribe, my children from something like that, from a venom like that? I have to be prepared. I have to be aware. I have to be awake. I have to know a few things on what to look for, what to listen to. But if I'm asleep at the wheel, how am I going to see it? How are we going to see it? How am I supposed to protect my home from the virus that's out there? How am I supposed to protect myself first and foremost from the viruses that are out there? There's programmers out there that are trying to program you and your system, trying to corrupt you and your system, trying to put viruses and malware in you and in your system, in your home, in your heart, in your mind. There's programmers out there who are doing that, willfully looking for victims. How do you stop that from happening? How do you save yourself from becoming a victim of one of these programmers who's trying to install some malware in the way you think? That might sound okay. It's pretty. Look at the cover. It's nice, like a video game. Oh, look at this nice little cover. Oh, look, we're gonna play, and you put it in the machine and it downloads and boom. It messes up your whole thing. It drains your accounts. It does whatever. Why? Because it's actual poison. The code has poison written in it. That you might not see it now. You might not see it or feel it right now. But it's in there. There's those of us out there. There's people out there who can read the code. Who can see the code. Like Neo. He can see the code. It's a movie, but there's people out there who can see the code and say, no, that code is wrong. But why? Because I know the code. I know the code. I know the standard. And it is up to some of those us out there, some of you out there who can see it, who can decipher it, who can say no and put up those protections to, first and foremost, protect ourselves, our minds and our hard drives, our homes and our families, first and foremost, but then those around us. by helping program them what we know, what we've learned, but in a manner that they don't have. We've done the work. You've done the work to give it to them in a package that's here. But because it's not led by greed, it's not led by money, it's not led by any of these things of fame and fortune. No, because I want to help save you and your home. I want you to be prepared. It's like me giving you a gat and saying, here, man, just in case. We need to help each other out. There's people out there, there's some of you out there who have seen the code, who know the code, who are programmed, who can, for a lack of a better term, help program others by the words that we use, but in a pure way, in a pure manner for goodness. Those folks out there who are trying to program you to this new way, this new style, it's almost like they're coming and saying, hey, you should go on the freeway. It's okay to go on the shoulder. It's okay to cross in and out. It's okay to wait to the last minute to exit. All of that is okay. Don't worry about those people, these fuddy-duddies, these old school, these old timers, these whatever, that are sticking to the standard. Look at these religious hokey pokey people, hokies, whatever. Look at their old school, their ancient, their dinosaurs. Don't be like them. Don't think like them. That standard exists because it is tried and true. The person who is trying to program you into a new form of behavior that has not been accepted for thousands of years, whatever it may be, is like the guy trying to tell you it's okay to drive a fool on the freeway, when we all know it's not okay. And some people might be like, be indifferent, but it's not okay, because the outcome is going to be pain and suffering down the road, somewhere up ahead. Some unsuspecting person is going to get hit. That person who's flying might fall off the bridge, might crash into somebody else, might kill himself or somebody else. Who knows? But the behavior itself leads, the outcome is the same. The higher possibility is the same. So in society, when we don't adhere to the standard, when we don't adhere to the standard that has been tested, tried and true for thousands and thousands of years, when we don't adhere to that, your higher percentages of suffering, your higher percentages of death, higher percentages of hurting yourself, higher percentages of hurting others. Why? Because you don't adhere to the standard. And those of you out there who do have a higher percentage of things going well, that's why you are able to afford that house. That is why you are able to do these things that you do. Family, your kids going to colleges, all these things. Why? Because you are adhering, you're acting and behaving in the standard that we say is acceptable. And when you do, good things happen. When you do, life goes that much smoother. When we know how to behave with each other, we have opportunities open up for us. It's almost like an invisible, something that just, here you go. Why? Because you've been acting good. You've been building bridges. You don't fight with people at work. You behave with your family. You love and help one another. And there's a reward for that in nature. Why? Because people are going to say, that person is good. I can trust him. I can trust her. Because they've always shown, to me that they help. So I'm going to help back. And the more people you help, the more people you show that to, the bigger the return, right, towards you. Don't be a virus. Be a note of goodness in society. Spread that good, that good information out there to help others protect themselves from the virus. Do not be a virus. Do not let yourself become corrupted. Do not let your system become corrupted in our society. Do not be corrupted. Protect yourself against corruption. Do what you have to do. It's hard, but we can do it. We can do it. It takes work, but we can do it. We can do it. You can do it. Do not become corrupted. Oh my God. Okay, that's it. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Yes. Woo! I knew it. Like I seriously been I've been wanting to get on here so bad. And I'm glad I'm glad I waited. Well, not that I waited, I was forced to wait, but I'm glad I did because I'm glad I did because I think it worked out. Worked out pretty good. Woo, we caught on fire there for a minute. Oh my gosh. So yeah, think we I think the message was there. So, all right. Well, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. I hope you liked that message. I hope you enjoyed that message as much as I did. I loved it. Whew, like fire, right? I said, but if you did and you are new to the show, please, 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 I ask you to hit the subscribe button if you are listening to us on Spotify. If you are watching us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button also. Please share with your friends if you would like. If you like what you hear, tell your friends about it. Help us out a little bit. Also, please, if you are new to the show, rate and give us a good rating. But also, I would like you to go to our YouTube channel. We got a lot of stuff going on over there. I do a lot of other stuff other than this. I do a lot of video creations also. Thesis Films is in the house now. So we do Thesis Films and then the podcast here. So I welcome you to our family if you're new, and I want to thank you for being here. And if you like it, please tell your friends. Follow us on all of our platforms. Well, it's just YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe. Reach out to us if you like. I enjoy every single minute of coming here, and I apologize that it took so long, but it was worth it. Quality over quantity, right? All right, guys. So in the meantime, I want you guys to keep safe, stay healthy out there, and continue on this path. And do not let yourself be corrupted. Program yourself to be a good, straight running system in this, in this world that we live in, right? So do not let yourself be corrupted. All right, guys. I love you. Stay safe. I will see you soon. Follow us, subscribe, do everything you need to do. I love you. Thank you for checking in on us. That's it. I love you. Stay safe. Peace out, folks.
This is Thesis.